Hi everyone, we're going to just find the equation of asymptote lines for hyperbolas, and we're just going to use point slope form and basically use the centers. So I'm assuming that you already kind of know how to graph these once you do this a lot, and so this is just an idea for your asymptote lines. I'm going to go ahead and graph these so you can get a better idea of how to get the asymptote lines. So I'm doing these three problems. Okay, this first one, I'm going to go ahead and graph it first. I know my center is, I take my x, that's going to be negative 2, comma 2. So we go from negative 2 to 2, this point here. And I'm going to start at this point and look under my y. If I look under my y, I have the 4. So I'm going to go up 4, or take the square root of that. So you go up 2 and down 2 on the y. And for the x, underneath that part, I have a 1. So take the square root of that and you get 1. So we're going to go to the right 1 and left 1. And basically, when you take the square root of 4, you do plus and minus square root of 4. Plus and minus square root of 1. So that's left and right. This one's up and down. So I'm going to draw a little box here. And draw my asymptote lines through the center and the corner of the rectangle I just drew. And without doing all the other stuff, we know that since y is the start, it opens up and down. So I start at this vertex point here and go up, and start at this vertex point and go down. All right, so we're going to use point slope form, which is y minus k equals m times x minus h. All right. Well, our slope is just, your slope is y over x. So you can look at the graph and you know we could go up 2 to the right one, or we're going up 2 to the left one, or you could go down and do it that way. So I know my slope is just going to be the square root of this number over the square root of that number. So the slope is just going to be plus or minus 2. So I'm just taking my y, my slope is going to be the square root of that over the square root of whatever's under my x, because I'm just using that. So, but we're going to do plus and minus because we have two asymptote lines. And I'm merely going to copy down my center, because in point slope form, we're going through the point of the center. So all I'm going to do is copy down y minus 2 equals my slope, which is plus or minus 2, and then copy x plus 2 down. And there is your point slope form. Now, you might want to separate it out. Y minus 2 equals 2 times x plus 2, and y minus 2 equals negative 2, x plus 2. If you need to write it in slope-intercept form, that's easy. You're just going to distribute and then add the 2. And we can do that. I'll do it for one of them. So you get y minus 2 equals 2x plus 4. And then you add the 2 to both sides. So you get y equals 2x plus 6. If you have to write it that way. But this is a good way to write it, because then you can also see your center. Okay, so the next one, I'm going to go a little faster. My center is negative 4, comma 3. So we go negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, up 3. And then I look under my x. This is my x part. Take the square root of 9. So that's going to be plus or minus 3. So from here, my center, I go up 3. And, oh, not up. Since it's under x, we go right 3 and left 3. 1, 2, 3. And under my y, I have 1. So that's plus or minus 1. Since it's under the, it's under the y. I'm going to go up 1 and down 1. That's the vertical. I draw a little rectangle here. Okay, and let's see if I can graph this. Go through your corners here and your center. And since X starts, we're going to open left and right. So you're just opening left and right here. Again, it's really not about the graphing. What I want to show you is that the asymptote lines do go through the center. And what we did is we went up 1 and to the right 3. So slope is y over x. I look under the y, and the square root of y was 1. I looked under the x, and the square root of 9 is 3. And since we have 2 lines, that's just going to be plus or minus. Then all I'm going to do is write my center down. So that's going to be y minus 3. I'm just pulling that out, equals plus or minus 1/3. And then I'm going to pull out my x. So that's going to be x plus 1. If you want to simplify, you can, and you could break it down in 2 separate lines if you want. Okay, the last one is this one. I look under my x, I have plus or minus 2. Under my y, I have plus or minus 2. And my center is negative 1, comma, negative 2. So I go negative 1, negative 2. There's that point. Just went up and down. And then under my x is the lead. Under my x, I have 2. So I'm going to go to the right 2 and to the left 2. And under my y, I also have square root of 4 is 2. So I'm going to go up 2 and right 2. I don't know what I wrote here, so this is plus or minus 2. If this wasn't a hyperbola, if this was a positive, this would have been a circle. In this case, we are going to draw a square. All right, draw your asymptote lines. Go right through the corners and through the center. All right, and you look under the, since they're both the same, we know y. This opens left and right because x starts. So you just kind of get close to the asymptotes here and do that. And then we know our y, our slope is y over x, which is just going to be 2 over 2, which is equals 1. And you do your plus and minus. So our slope is plus or minus 1. And then you just merely copy down the format for slope form, point slope form. So basically you're going to write y plus 2, which is this part, equals negative 1. And you don't need to put plus or minus. You don't need to put the 1. And x plus 1. Again, if you have to write this one in slope-intercept form, you'd write y plus 2 equals x plus 1. So y equals x, subtract the 2, x minus 1. And the other one would be y plus 2 equals negative x plus 1. So that would be y plus 2 equals negative x minus 1. And if you subtract the 2, you get y equals negative x minus 3. So those would be your slope-intercept form. However, your point slope form works just as well. It's actually better because then you can see the center for the hyperbola. And that's all. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.